How's it going, everyone? It's Ben Falcons Media Corner back again with a brand new video for today. Welcome back to the movie review, aka for our soul review video for today. This time for this new episode for this series is going to be my review on the 2023 sci-fi action film. And this film is the 7th installment to this franchise that all began since 2007. And this is also a prequel to this franchise as well. And this franchise is, of course, based on the famous Hasbro toy line as well. And as you guys can tell from the title of this video, of course, I'm here to review Transformers Rise of the Beasts. Now, this is directed by Stephen Caple Jr., who you may know him as the director of Creed 2, which I thought was a really great sequel to Creed. So he has now come to make a new entry to the Transformers franchise, which is this movie. And this film is set in 1994, where we follow this new human character named Noah, played by Anthony Ramos, whom he's having a difficult life with his family because he lives with his single mom and his young brother named Chris, who he's unfortunately sick. And basically, for Noah, all he wants to do is that he wants to find a perfect job so he can basically help his sick brother Chris. And we also follow this other human character named Elena, played by Dominique Fishback, whom she is an archaeologist and stuff like that. And what ends up happening later on in the movie is that we see both of these characters, they encounter Optimus Prime and the rest of the Autobots, like Bumblebee, and as well as some other Autobots that we've all known from like decades ago and all, like from the cartoons and all of that. And pretty much they come in to basically find this key known as the Transwarp Key, which they basically are trying to get their hands on to basically help them defend the planet and all that, because there's this evil group of robots known as the Terracons, which is led by this villainous character named Scourge, voiced by Peter Dinklage, whom he's trying to get his hands on this Transwarp Key, so he can use it to basically destroy an entire planet. So it's basically up to Optimus Prime and the rest of the Autobots, along with Noah and Elena, to basically try and get their hands on the key before Scourge and the rest of his team can get their hands on it, so they can try and use it to destroy the entire planet they want to destroy. So that's pretty much the story of Transformers Rise of the Beasts. Now, when it comes to the Transformers franchise itself, for me, I never really grew up with Transformers when I was a kid. Like, I never watched any of the cartoon shows, and I never really played with the toys or anything like that. But what really got me introduced to this whole franchise was the Michael Bay movies, and I have seen all 5 of them. Like, the first movie, I think it is a good movie, but it certainly isn't a great film. It does have its issues, but I still enjoyed it. But for the sequels, however, I'm not really a fan of the sequels. Like, Revenge of the Fallen, I did not really like that movie. But Dark of the Moon I thought was better than Revenge of the Fallen, but it wasn't as good as the first one. But for me overall, I think Dark of the Moon was just okay. But the last two Michael Bay Transformers films that we did get, which were Age of Extinction and The Last Night, I thought both of them were just god awful, and and for both of them, I think they're even worse than Revenge of the Fallen. But for the last Transformers film that we did get, which was, of course, Bumblebee, in which that one is actually a prequel to the Transformers franchise, I was surprised I had a really great time with that one. And that one was not directed by Michael Bay. That one was directed by Travis Knight. And I thought he did a really great job with that film, because I liked how he gave a new fresh blood to that film and all that, and being very different from the Michael Bay films and all that. And so when I heard we were going to get a new entry to the Transformers franchise, I was really looking forward to it, because there was a few reasons. One was because of the director, Stephen Caple Jr., whom, like I said, he directed Creed 2, and I thought he did a great job with that film, so I was really excited to see what he was going to do for this movie as the director. And another reason why I was looking forward to this film was the cast. Like, you've got some new talented people who are in this film. Like, you've got Anthony Ramos, who I think he's a talented actor. And for voice actors, like, you've got Pete Davidson, whom he's hilarious. Michelle Yeoh, who's one of my favorite actresses. You know, the most recent Oscar winner. And you have Ron Perlman, whom he's a great actor. Peter Dinklage, who's also a really great actor too. And it was also great to see Peter Cullen coming back as the voice of Optimus Prime. So it was great to see him come back to do this new entry to the franchise as well. And once I saw the trailers for this film, I was really looking forward to this film. And I did see this film on opening day, which was on the 9th of June. And the screening that I was in, there was quite a lot of people in the screening that I was in, but it wasn't like completely full house or anything like that. But after watching this whole movie, I wouldn't say it is as good as Bumblebee, though, but I still found myself having a enjoyable time with Transformers Rise of the Beast here. I thought this was a solid entry to the franchise here from beginning to end here. The things that I did like in Rise of the Beasts were the action scenes, in which the action scenes, for the most part, I thought they were pretty strong, but yeah, they were pretty fun to watch here. And they were directed pretty well done here by Stephen Caple Jr., who, like I said, directed this film. And I liked what he was going for here, from being something completely different than what Michael Bay did for his own take on the Transformers movies himself, because for his own take in those films, they were kind of like overly stylized for the way he directs the action scenes and all that. But for what Stephen Caple Jr. did here for this film, I thought was much better than what Michael Bay did for his own take in his own take in the Transformers movies himself and all that. And I liked also what Caple Jr. did for his own take in this film, for referencing the film and all that, because this film is set in 1994 and there's a few references to that year, which I thought they were pretty surprising in this film, and I found myself enjoying those moments in this film. And the visual effects in the film, I thought they were pretty well made and all that, for the action scenes as well as for the characters themselves in this film. And as for the acting talent who are in this film, I thought everyone for the most part were pretty solid here. Anthony Ramos as Noah, I thought he was really good in the film, and he was also really entertaining as well. And Dominique Fishback as Eleanor, I thought she was pretty good as well. And the young actor who plays Chris, Noah's young brother, I thought he was really good in the film too. And everyone else for the most part, I thought they were pretty solid here. And as for the voice actors, you've got Peter Cullen as, of course, Optimus Prime once again. He's still great as Optimus Prime. And as for the new voice actors who are in the film, which, like I said, you've got Pete Davidson as Mirage. He was a really entertaining character. And Mirage, he was probably a show stealer for every scene he was in this film. And Michelle Yeoh as Razor, I thought she was great in the film. And Ron Perlman as Optimus Primal, I thought he was really great as well. And Peter Dinklage, who he voices the villain in the film, Scourge, I thought he was really good as well. And everyone else, for the most part, I thought they were really great and yet entertaining as well. However, for the story for this film, it is one of my issues I do have with this film, because I found the story for this film kind of generic and pretty forgettable, really. Although I wouldn't say it is frustratingly bad or anything like that. I would say it is kind of much better for the development for the characters in this film and all that, because for the Michael Bay films there wasn't that much developments to the characters or anything like that. But for what Bumblebee did and in this film, I would say they've done a much better job for the development for the characters themselves, for the characters here, for the Autobots and stuff like that. But for the human characters who are in this film, I wouldn't say there isn't that much developments to them, but they are still pretty likable enough and all that. And I also kind of wish this film would have showcased a few more scenes involving Noah's young brother Chris and all that, because there was a few scenes in the film where we do see Noah and Chris showing their relationship in this film, and I kind of found those moments in the film pretty heartwarming and all that, but there isn't that much scenes involving Chris and all that, and I kind of wish there would have been a few more scenes involving Chris and all that, because we mostly see him being separated from Noah while he's out on this adventure with Eleanor and the Autobots and stuff like that. And as for the runtime for the film, the runtime for this film is 2 hours and 7 minutes, which the runtime isn't too bad. It is longer than the last film, because for the last film Bumblebee, it's an hour and 52 minutes, which that was a good runtime. And while I kind of wish a few minutes of this film could have, and I would kind of wish there was a few minutes of this film could have been shaved off or anything like that. It's mostly towards the final act of the film, which I kind of felt added a bit too much and all that. But once the film started, it kind of flew by pretty quickly and all that. And the pacing for that wasn't too bad. But it's towards the final act of the film, I kind of felt it was a bit too much of that for its runtime and all that and pacing. So overall, in the end, guys, Transformers: Rise of the Beast. Like I said, this one was overall an enjoyable time here. But it certainly isn't as good as Bumblebee though. But I still found myself having a fun ride with this movie here, and I can definitely say it's definitely much better than the Michael Bay Transformers sequels here. And if you are a huge fan of Transformers, this is one I would really recommend you see here with either your best friends or your family. So that's pretty much all I have to say about Transformers: Rise of the Beasts. I'm going to give Transformers: Rise of the Beasts 3.5 out of 5. Despite a few flaws I have with this movie, I still managed to have a fun ride with this movie here from beginning to end here. So yeah, thank you guys so much for watching for my AKF Saw review on Transformers: Rise of the Beast. So let me know what you think of this movie if you've seen this already. Did you have a really fun time with this, or were you very disappointed with this? As always, thank you guys so much for watching, and this has been Falcon's Media Corner signing off.